Welcome back. You're still watching First Trades right here on ET Now. NK Kakani, who's Senior ED Simplex Infra, joins in with a quick understanding of how their business is shaping up and how they are likely to capitalize on the recovery in the Capex cycle. Great to have you, Mr. Kakani. Thanks very much for taking out the time. One of the key arguments in the company has been the focus on fast-tracking recovery of receivables. What are the targets on that front? How are things moving?
Yeah, actually the receivables over 6 months are about 2,300 crores. So we plan to recover 800 crore this year, this fiscal, and about 1,050 crore in next year. And in the third year, 300 crore will get recovered. And during this time, about 200 crore will be written off also. So 1,300 crore of excess over 6 months will be liquidated in 2 years' time. And we have many arbitration cases going also. So arbitration cases are about 1,600 crore, out of which 400 crore we have already won. And we expect that this year we should be recovering about 200 to 300 crore out of arbitration cases also.
Take your total receivables to this year?
The overall receivable.
That's right.
Total receivable 5,600 crore. So out of which 2,300 crore is excess over 6 months. So that is what our recovery plan is. Remaining receivable will be brought down by reduced working capital cycle in the new orders. So as the new orders proportion grows, the older cycle will come down, and we expect that the overall working capital cycle will reduce from 230 days today to about 150, 140 days in 2 years' time.
But you've recently raised funds as well via equity and warrants. How will that help aid growth?
Yeah, that will help us in working, because this is a working capital intensive industry. We don't require funds for Capex, because Capex is about 200 crore annually, which is well within our depreciation charge, annual depreciation charge. And for working capital, because the new order inflow is very big, our order book is 19,000 crore, the bid pipeline is 30,000 crore, and the potential of the infrastructure growth in the country for next 5 years is tremendous. So capitalize on that, because we plan to grow this year by 40%. So to achieve the 40% growth, that means we have to do additional turnover of 2,000 crore. And on 90 days working capital cycle on the new orders, we require 500 crore worth of working capital to achieve this turnover growth. So this capital raise is helping us that we achieve the growth by 2,000 crore this year. So that is from 6,000 crore to 8,000 crore is our turnover target this year.
And what's the visibility that you're currently foreseeing for orders?
Yeah, because the order book is 19,000 crore, which has to be executed in 2.5 years' time contractually. And new bid pipeline is 30,000 crore. So this year we will garner about 9 to 10,000 crore worth of new orders. So this, and plus that execution capability is there in-house, because we have established that in last 4-5 years we have done several months the turnover in excess of 700 crore a month. So 8,000 crore of turnover capability is there, only working capital was lacking. So that is what we have plugged by raising the capital. And in the meantime, over next 2 years' time, we'll recover the old outstanding. So that will fuel the future growth, because we'll grow. We anticipate that we'll grow about 25-30% CAGR in next 5 years' time.
To hear. On the working capital front, you said you've plugged the gaps. So how much do you plan to compress the cycle by, so that there is a higher turnover and you see a limited debtor day cycle?
Correct. The new orders will be needing only 90 days working capital cycle. Actually, our internal working shows that it will require about 77 days. But there can be some slippages, so we anticipate that 90 days is the new working capital cycle for the new orders. And the old working capital cycle is 230 days, so which will gradually come down by recovery of this 800 crore this year and 1050 crore next year, and also by increasing the proportion of the new orders versus the old orders. The overall working capital cycle will come down to 140 days in 2 years time from 230 days. And incremental working capital cycle will be 90 days. So that means for growth of 2000 crore of additional sales, we require about 500 crore of additional working capital, and that is what we have raised. And for future growth over next 4-5 years, the growth will be funded by recovery from the debtors, which will be coming from this year onwards in 2 years time, and the internal accruals. So borrowing will come down.
Okay, great. Great speaking with you, and thanks so much for bringing about clarity on where really things stand as of now for Simplex, and how are things likely to take shape in the future quarters to come. A very robust order book is what Mr. Kakani just told us. Simplex though under pressure, as is the rest of the side market too.